March of the Penguins. No, that's not the name of this year's very unthreatening but seasonally appropriate Doctor Who Christmas special. It is, of all things, a handheld video game based on a documentary. That's surely a first for this channel. A game based on a documentary. I shall have to trawl Moby Games for a Nintendo GameCube version of Channel 5's There's a Rhino in My House, or a PS2 AAA release of Bestiality Expose Animal Passions. Perhaps there was an Xbox 360 game of the Panorama episode that looked into the Jimmy Savile sex abuse allegations back in 2013. Until then though, cute penguins! Yay! Shuffling slowly. Boo. Actually, it's quite cute. March of the Penguins was a cinematically released 2005 chronicle of emperor penguins as they set out to get some pootie tang and start a family. Don't do it, buddy. Not if you like sleep. It was a French production by director Luc Jacquet for the National Geographic, with cinematographers Laurent Chalet and Jérôme Masson taking residence in the Adélie Land territory of Antarctica. I bet it was bloody brass monkeys, so it were. The pair filmed the shuffling horde of emperor penguins for over a year as they migrated inland to their ancestral breeding grounds. They captured the courtship, the nurture of the eggs, the hatching, and then the many arduous trips the parents made to get fish for their offspring. The English language version of the production is lent extra gravitas by old Captain Gravitas himself, Morgan Freeman, whose distinctive larynx gives you a commentary of what's happening to these poor little cold buggers. It's a powerful documentary, sometimes tragic, sometimes heartwarming, often wistfully funny. You really do pull for these little feathered cones with their tiny legs to make it through these harshest of conditions. The movie was distributed worldwide by Buena Vista Pictures and did very well indeed. On a budget of just $8 million, the movie made an impressive $127 million, and also did gangbusters in DVD sales. It got great reviews too, with a 94% aggregated score on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, you wear that tuxedo, birdo. You've earned it. So yes, not typical fodder for a video game, nature, is it? But a game we did indeed get in November 2006. It was released by Zoo Entertainment, who we've encountered before with the woeful Rock'em Sock'em robots, and will be returning to many, many times before this channel reaches its end with my death. They're absolute handheld game license hordes, God bless them. The game was developed by Skyworks Technologies, which was founded by Activision industry legends Gary Kitchen and David Crane. Skyworks released around 25 games in total, mainly on the Nintendo handhelds, but also a few on iOS and Sony's portable devices of that era. March of the Penguins was released on the Nintendo DS and the Game Boy Advance, and there's not a great deal of difference between the two versions. Graphically, they're pretty much identical, with the main benefit of the DS version of course being that touchscreen control. You get this overview of the level peered through the binoculars of a mystery penguin voyeur on the top screen. What's he doing? Stop lusting over the beasts. For the purposes of this review, I'll be concentrating on using the Game Boy Advance version, purely because it looks better in video form to have it on just the one screen. Sorry, huge video border fans. The game is made up of a series of stages, with puzzle levels involving scooching about the tundra in straight lines trying to find your booty call, or guarding your little un from the cold and get animals who want to eat them. Other stages have your feathered chums taking to the water in order to find fish to bring home to the family. Should have got a Deliveroo with all the trouble that's causing you. Each level is bookended with facts about what is happening during the course of the movie, so it's mildly educational. I'm penguin smart, me. The main meat of the game though has a rather obvious influence to it, that being lemmings. And no, before you ask, there isn't an option to blow up all the penguins as they go, oh no! Indeed, the penguins are like Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. They're immortal, and they cannot die. Rather than going belly up when they encounter a hole or a drop in a level, the penguins will refuse to throw themselves to the ground, or will just jump in the sea below the level and swim back to the start of it. Now, this seems a bit counter to the movie and the lessons of nature themselves. A lot of birds don't survive the movie. But I suppose Zoo could argue that seeing baby penguins dying over and over and over again may result in children yeeting the little creatures like tennis balls on their next visit to London Zoo. Rather than Arctic bird genocide, you're against a timer, and you must guide the chirruping crew from one side of the playfield to the other, clearing out the obstacles along the way. And you must save all of the birds. Never leave a bird behind. Oi you, clean shirt, stop lollygagging. Not only that, but the birds have to collect a set number of snowflakes along the way, which definitely wasn't a feature of the movie, as they looked quite frankly sick of snowflakes for most of the movie because they were getting bloody cold. Fail either to collect enough flakes or get your mob across the Antarctic plateau in good time and you'll have to start the level all over again. You can restart at any time because it'll be patently obvious that the slovenly beasts aren't going to be getting there anytime soon. They move with the speed of a care home full of old people heading to the polling station to vote against their own interests. It's excruciating at times, it really is. And I'm talking about both penguins and old people. The stages are generally fairly simple to solve. It's just if you accidentally miss a slick-pelted chap strutting around the back after you've spent 7 minutes guiding its mates perfectly, then sorry pal, you've got to start again. It's not as clever or as flexible as Lemmings, which is astonishing given that Kitchen and Crane are involved, and it's a good decade and a half since DMA Design's green-mopped suicide rodents first belly-flopped to their demise. Most of the puzzles can be solved by using the springy tent or the soft clump of snow to ease the fall of the beak-wearing strutters, with the helter-skelter slide being mostly redundant, like a penguin dad whose chick has died alone in the snow. Jesus Christ, what did I just say? I've gone too far down the path of dark analogies. The night has taken me. Obviously, there's not a lot of variety in the graphics because, well, Antarctica looks a bit samey at the best of times, and a desert or a space set level might have been a bit off the beaten track for a game based on a nature documentary. The music is kind of jaunty, in that cheap way a lot of kids' games are on the Game Boy Advance. It's instantly forgettable fare, but overall that is the nature of the game as a whole. If you want a Lemmings game, there are now unofficial homebrew ports for both consoles. But if you want an actual cart that you can find, should you pick up a penguin? Maybe. It is a vastly inferior version of Lemmings though, so you'll probably have to be a huge March of the Penguins fan to enjoy it. And if you're a huge March of the Penguins fan, that means you're a fan of watching penguins getting at it. What's wrong with you? IGN reviewed the game for both formats in early 2007. They said the game is too hard to be a children's game, but too boring to be a game to recommend to anyone. And that's when it's working and not screwing the player over with bad controls. They gave the DS version a 40% and the Game Boy Advance version a 45%. GameSpot gave it a similar score of 40% for both versions the same month. They told us that not that many people will or should consider buying either version of March of the Penguins. The Lemming-style puzzles are much too difficult for younger players, while older players will soon be turned off by how bland and short-lived the overall product is. The silly thing isn't that they made a video game out of a documentary. The silly thing is that they made it too difficult for one audience and too insubstantial for the other. So that's that then. Next time, the wintry animal documentary licensed fun takes us to the other end of the planet, because yes, there's another one. There's one on polar bears too. Arctic Tale is next. How snowy. Like, subscribe, and K thanks, bye.